While 2020 was a year for the record books for one disaster occurring right after another, 2021 hasn't been much better so far. When it comes to something that needs to be helped along with everything going on, personal finance has definitely come to mind. So here is our list of the best personal finance hacks of 2021 so far. First, we have student loan forgiveness. While a blanket forgiveness program isn't really looking like it's in the cards, there are plenty of federal student aid programs that will definitely ease the stress of student loans. Take advantage of whatever programs are instilled to make the possibility of bettering your life a reality. While there isn't much in place to help relieve past debt, there are plenty of options for people looking to start school now or return to school. While there are a lot of federal aid programs, don't forget that there are a plethora of personal and private student aid programs. Next, we have the possibility of buying a new car. In short, don't. The market for a new car is terrible with the factories shutting down due to the pandemic. With factories reopening, you would think that it would soften up the shortage of cars, but now there is a lack of employees for everyone. All in all, it is a terrible time to purchase a new car. If you are in need of a set of wheels, your best bet would probably be to consult a close friend or neighbor that has an extra vehicle. Barter with them or buy it outright if you can, but your best bet would be to buy used from a reliable source. On the other hand, this might be a good time to hold on to your vehicles and simply have them worked on to keep them maintained. There's no telling when the auto industry will be able to return to normal. Next, on the flip side, it is a perfect time to sell any extra vehicles you may have access to. While there may be a shortage in vehicles being shipped from the factories, the demand has done nothing but increase. So if you need the extra cash or you're just trying to empty out your space, selling that extra vehicle might be your best option. Don't be afraid to ask for full value on your vehicle. With a shortage of new cars arriving comes a need for more and more used inventory. That inventory is supplied by none other than the everyday people like you and me. Hopefully the factories can return to normal, but in the meantime, take advantage of a system that finally benefits you. Next, we have the idea of NFTs. While one cannot necessarily say whether or not this is just a phase or a fad, it's obviously a viable option for trading goods and collectibles at the time. NFTs have actually had a boom during the pandemic, considering the fact that people could still earn or trade collectibles without having to leave the safety of their own home. The days of physical trading cards are becoming a thing of the past. While the value of them has continued to go up, the access to NFTs and the amount of money going into these rare items is making them the natural replacement for physical collectibles. If you have physical collectibles, keep them, but don't let the beginning of the NFTs pass you by. Next is a great one that solves more problems than one. Now is the perfect time for you to ask for that pay raise you've always wanted. With employees becoming scarce and the benefits of unemployment still sky high, businesses are finding it harder and harder to stay open due to the lack of employees. It's gotten so bad, fast food restaurants are offering $15 an hour just for entry-level jobs. With you asking for that raise at your current job, you're relieving your employer of the stress of being short-handed or paying a new employee even more. At least this way their business can continue to thrive, and you have the opportunity to better yourself while pocketing more money at a time when every little bit counts. Next, we are paying attention to stocks. While meme stocks took everyone by surprise, they showed that there is a bit of credibility in speculating instead of long-term trading. While companies like GameStop ended up not having to declare bankruptcy thanks to the trend started on Reddit, it opened up more people to the possibility of investing in what's called cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency took the country by storm in how simple it was to buy and invest in it. While the idea of short-term speculating may come across as closer to gambling than it is playing the stock market, it has become a viable source of income for many people. With buy-ins as low as $1, it is a cheap way to hopefully multiply your investment. This is obviously a more reliable option for those that understand stock trading, but there are also a number of apps and forums that welcome you to the world of trading. Next is options for paying back medical debts. While most people automatically look to crowdfunding as a way to ask for help from sympathetic people to pay their medical bills, there are actually quite a few programs in place to help with whatever medical debt you may have obtained during these times of hardship. There's the obvious options of government-funded healthcare to help relieve the stress of medical bills. There are a plethora of other options available to you. For one thing, check your local hospital. Sometimes there are programs available to patients of a particular hospital that get extra donations from donors to help with some of these expenses patients might face. The United Way also has a program in place to help payments on a particular level of medical conditions. Family Reach also has a program. Certain pharmaceutical companies have patient assistance programs as well. It couldn't hurt to check it out. Next, do not travel. While airlines showed a decline in prices once flights flights resumed, it seems that the prices of airline tickets as well as everything else is going back up. Not only are airline tickets seeing another rise in price, but all other travel goods possible are seeing an incline. The pandemic has put a lot of strain on every industry. Transportation and tourism are no exception. With the rise in price to keep employees comes the rise in price of the goods they sell. This year has shown an almost 10% increase in travel goods prices alone. There's no telling if travel or the way businesses work in general will ever go back to the way things were before the pandemic. In the meantime, it's the perfect time to explore locations closer to you. Whether it's finding a new campground, finding a cheap hotel, or just taking a road trip during the day, staying closer to home will definitely save you some money this year. Now we'll touch on a few obvious ones. Budget. Budgeting isn't a new hack of 2021, but it's just as prevalent as it's ever been before. Budgeting can help keep what money you do have in your own pocket. Cutting down on all the streaming services when you really only watch from one or two. Cutting back on going out to eat when it's cheaper and healthier to prepare your own meals throughout the week. While relieving some tension is important and a little self-gratification can go a long way, the incessant splurging that drains everyone's bank account is detrimental to progressing in life. Budgeting can help you save up for a new car or a new home when the market gets back to being right for all of that. With budgeting, you'll be ready when the time does finally come. Next is setting goals. Having an idea of where you want to be by a set time in the future will help you make steps to reach that said goal. Visualizing progress towards something you want will always help drive you. It's important to set short-term and long-term goals. Where do you see yourself in 3 months? A year? 5 years? That's all it takes to make forward progress. Once you know where you want to be, you can start adequate planning and prep to make sure it's obtainable. You're never too old for a change. You're never too far away to make your next move, and it's never too late to change your career. Finally, we have to say that this is the perfect time to aim high. Don't just settle for what you thought was the norm. What you thought was out of your reach back in 2019 may be easily obtainable in 2021. There are people in retail and food service jobs that never imagined making the $15 an hour they are now. There are adults that never thought they'd have the time to go back to school. A whole world of companies never thought they could switch most of their positions to remote at-home positions. They do now. While the pandemic has caused a lot of terrifying changes in everyday aspects of life, there are plenty of things available for people that would have never thought possible. While the world may be harder than ever to live in, there are plenty of ways you can put yourself in an easier financial position than ever.